Hey, what's up guys? This is Josh from Sense of Self, and today I'm going to be talking about how to do stuff without having to be motivated, how to be productive without needing that motivation. Have you ever been super pumped before you go to sleep? You're just feeling extremely motivated. You plan that you're going to do this, you're going to finish this by 10 a.m, you're going to finish this by 2 p.m, straight after you wake up, but then you go to sleep. And you wake up and all the motivation is just gone, just like that. And you end up wasting the whole day not doing what you set out to do, and it just makes you feel down. It decreases your self-esteem, your self-confidence. You told yourself you would do this, but you didn't. So that's what this video is about, how to do things without needing that motivation, without relying on this feeling that's external to you. How to do things on your own without needing an external force, motivation to do the things that you set out to do. So let's get straight into the video. So the first thing is something that I like to call the 3-second rule, and this is extremely simple. So what you do is you count 1, 2, 3, then you instantly just go and do the thing that you set out to do. So if you think of something that you need to get done, you've been procrastinating for a while and you're not doing anything at the moment, count to 3 and just instantly do it. It gives you no time to think, gives you no time to make excuses, and it sets you on this positive trail, this upward spiral. You eventually do work without needing that motivation. You just count to 3 and you go. Extremely, extremely simple. You could use this anywhere. You could do this at work, you can do this at school, you can do this at home when you got nothing really important to do. Maybe you're just walking somewhere and you're like, oh yeah, I got to email this person. Count to 3, 1, 2, 3. Take out your phone, you email them then and there while you're walking. It makes your time a lot more useful. It gets a lot of the stuff that you wanted to do out of the way. So the second way to do work without motivation is something that I like to call the 5-minute rule. Yes, I know I'm using another time frame, but it works. The 5-minute rule is basically, if you need to get something done, just start on it for 5 minutes, no matter what it is, no matter how big or small the task is. This works particularly better on long projects. So let's say you have an essay to hand in, you have to do a lot of paperwork or something. Put it down and just work for 5 minutes. Tell yourself after the 5 minutes you can stop if you don't feel like it. But chances are that after the 5 minutes of work, you start getting into the work, you start enjoying it, and you start getting focused. You become motivated by just simply beginning the task that you set out to do. So after 5 minutes of work, you might find yourself doing 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours of work that you didn't even intend to do. You planned to do 5 minutes, but now you've got it all done. You finished it simply by doing 5 minutes of it at the start. Even if you don't work for more than 5 minutes, you end up at least starting it. It builds momentum and at least you've begun. So the next day you might be like, oh, let's finish that project that I've started, because you have started it. You started the first stage of finishing it. And that's what's important. The third way to do work or get stuff done without motivation is something called the Pomodoro technique. I didn't make this myself, this is an actual thing. Basically what you do is you break down your work into 25-minute chunks. So you only do 25 minutes of work. No distractions, no phone, no notifications, you just do 25 minutes. This is how you start the momentum again. If you see a pattern with all of these things, it's just building the momentum to start doing what you set out to do. So the exact process of this is you do 25 minutes of intense work, so no distractions, just focus on the thing that you have to do. And then you take a 5-minute break, stretch, take a walk outside, do something that pumps you up. Do something that lets you take a break from the work. Don't just sit there on your phone. You'll think you're taking a 5-minute break, but it'll just turn into an hour of you scrolling through Instagram. Like, it's really not the best. So even in this 5-minute break, I'd recommend that you do not use your phone. But after the break, you do another 25-minute chunk, and then you do this over 4 times, and then you take a 20-minute break, a longer break where you do something kind of fun, and then you set back to work using the Pomodoro technique. So the trick to this is you just tell yourself you're going to do 1 chunk. That's all you're going to do, 1 chunk of work. But after that 1 chunk of work, after 25 minutes of working, you just get into that flow state. You're like, okay, I've done 25 minutes of work already, how much more can I do? Then you just end up finishing it. It's just a great technique. I didn't make this. This is something that a lot of people use, and it's just great. This doesn't exactly work on short pieces of work that you could do in 5 minutes. For those, you could just use the 3-second rule or even the 5-minute rule, the things that I said already in this video. So moving on. The fourth way to get stuff done without having to be motivated is, okay, I don't have a name for this one, honestly. I'm gonna be honest with you. But this is just extremely effective. So what you do is you tell maybe your 5 closest friends, just your general friend group, or even people that you're acquainted with, you're not really close friends with. Just tell anyone, at least 4 people. So you're going to be telling at least 4 people what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and when you're going to finish it. Because this will hold you accountable. It'll put social pressure on you to actually get the stuff done that you want to get done.
What are you doing? What
am I working on? Me?
Yeah.
This video.
When's it going to be finished?
It's going to be finished. Wait, in fact, no, editing. Plus editing by the end of... If I'm coming next week, before then, Definitely, 100%. So now these friends or even acquaintances are going to hold you accountable, and if you don't finish it by the time you do it and they ask you, have you finished this? Your value will just drop in their heads. They'll be like, oh, he didn't do what he said that he would do. And it also decreases your self-confidence. You lied to yourself. You told yourself, I'm going to do this by then, and you didn't. It goes into a negative spiral. Now you're going to keep telling yourself, I'm going to do this, but do you know if you're telling yourself the truth? If you can't even tell the truth to others, how do you know you're telling the truth to yourself? So hopefully you use these 4 things to help yourself finish what you need to do now. The worst thing in life is, I guess, regrets of not having done stuff. Usually when you've done something, even if it's awkward at the time, you look back on it, you're like, I'm glad I did that, because it develops you as a person, and that's what's important. If you still want to know how to motivate yourself, how to become motivated, I'm going to be making a video on that soon, so check out my channel below, Sense of Self Josh. Click subscribe and the bell button, because that video will be coming out. It might be useful for you.